Hi, and welcome to What's Up Williston, the town's monthly TV show where we take a closer look at what's happening in our community. I'm your host, Erik Wells. We've got a packed show this month, so if you're watching live, we may go over time, so you can catch the end online or a show replay on CCTV. So my guest this month is Erica Marks, Director of Volunteer Services at Age Well, a local nonprofit serving residents aged 60 plus in Williston and our region. The mission of Age Well is to provide the support and guidance that inspires our community to embrace aging with confidence. Erica, thanks so much for joining me this month.
Thank you for asking me.
So I thought we'd jump in and talk about different services that Age Well provides to folks in the region. And I think the first one we're going to touch on was the senior helpline, if you want to share about that.
So if you take nothing else away from the show, it's the senior helpline that you want to know. It is the entry point for anyone who needs services or has questions. So anyone that has questions about resources or situations that they're trying to figure out, 60 and older, call the senior helpline. If you want to volunteer, if you need help filling out applications to access resources, whatever it is you need.
So when someone calls the helpline, they may not necessarily know exactly what they need, right?
Right.
Just need to explain the situation to the person on the other end.
Yeah, so our senior helpline is staffed by 4 highly trained helpers who really know when you call, you can call and they will ask the right questions to better understand your situation. And even in the way they ask the questions, it also helps you get clearer on your situation and what it is that you're needing and wanting. And then they can make suggestions and offer resources.
That's a great service.
Yes, and it's answered by a real live person, not, you know, a voicemail, push 1 for this, push 2 for that. No, there are 4 people. It's answered by a real live human being, 8:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday.
That's great. I think we shared the number on the screen, and we'll probably put it up a couple more times during the broadcast here for folks. Another piece is Meals on Wheels service.
Yeah, so we are the largest provider of Meals on Wheels in the state of Vermont. We run from the Rutland border to the Canadian border. So all of Addison, Chittenden, Franklin, and Grand Isle County, that is our service area. And we deliver about 230,000 meals a year. It takes an army of volunteers in order to deliver those meals, because once the food is prepared and dropped off at the hub, it is the volunteers that then move that food. And when they're delivering the food, they're not just delivering the food, they're also making a friendly visit, checking in, because we have many seniors who live alone and who are isolated and don't see anybody on a regular basis. And so that friendly face checking in on them and making sure they're okay, especially with this summer when it was so hot, was really, really an important part of what we do.
That's an immensely important aspect to it.
Yeah.
With Meals on Wheels, is that 5 days a week, 7 days a week? Is
That's
there
a great question.
More meals maybe the end of the week?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we deliver meals 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. But we can provide meals up to 7 days a week. So we can, on Fridays, deliver meals for the weekend if somebody needs that.
Another piece, care and service coordination.
Yeah. That's just a fancy name for case management, which really we have a whole team of trained social workers who can go and do home visits and meet with people in their homes. So if you call the senior helpline counselors talk with you and help you with what they can. But if they determine that you need more help than they can provide over the phone, they will send one of our care and service coordinators. And they do a whole variety of things. It might be that you have one of our community health workers or options counselors coming to help look at your situation. What's your financial situation? What's your support system look like? What's your medical situation? And what kind of resources could you benefit from most? They'll help you fill out the applications for resources that you do qualify for, and they'll come back annually and help you fill out those same applications again. And then if they determine that you have a situation where you need to do some goal setting and some planning, and you're going to need some help putting some strategies in place. For instance, maybe you're caring for a loved one who has dementia or Alzheimer's, and you're going to need someone that can help connect you with resources, but make a plan and check in with you once a month and make sure that things are going according to plan, and follow up with other services that you're getting to make sure things are going smoothly. And then we have our complex case managers that help in those more complicated situations where someone has a complicated medical situation or a complicated mental health situation where they're going to need more support. And those case managers carry a smaller caseload so that they can spend more time and can visit more frequently. But the fact that we go to people's homes and we really listen and we help them with what they identify as important to them. We're not an agency that goes in and tells people what they have to do. We go in and we listen and we help people achieve their goals.
It's an immensely valuable service
Yes.
to our residents. Is there any charge for these services? How would that work?
That's a great question, and the answer is there is no charge to the clients. So we do not have a fee for any of the services that we provide. Two of our programs are we do ask for a suggested donation. So in our nutrition program, we have 3 different kinds of meals we do. We do Meals on Wheels, we do community meals, and we also have our restaurant ticket program. And we ask for a $5 donation. So for those who are able to pay, that's great. For those that can't, not a problem. We're never going to turn somebody away. And we do a lot of private fundraising in order to make sure that we don't ever have to turn anybody away from accessing any of our meals. And then we also have 42 Tai Chi volunteers. And those are instructors that are certified who offer free Tai Chi classes out in the communities that we serve. And they let the participants know that it is an AgeWell sponsored class, and if they would like to make a donation toward covering the cost of that certification, that is always welcome.
I think it seems like one takeaway someone should have from our conversation is if they need help, they have a question, just a call. You guys are there to help them.
It doesn't matter how simple or how complex the question is. I love one of our helpline counselors. His name is Sam, and he always says, the very first call I got after 3 months of training and having a master's in social work was a woman who lived up in the Northeast Kingdom who called to ask me which stations were the Canadian stations so she could watch TV in French. You know, anything from that, all the way to, you know, adult children who call, maybe they're in California, they've just spoken to their parents here in Vermont, their parents have a new diagnosis, and they're worried about their parents, and they want to know what resources are available and how can they help their parents access those resources. So the variety of calls we get is wide, and we get over 1,000 calls a month.
Wow. And that piece of it, someone who asking for help, I know that can be a tough step for someone or their family. What message do you have for folks who are kind of on the fence about that, and what's the best way to start to get in that place?
What I always like to tell people is you can call just to get information. You may not even be at a point yet where you know what the help is that you need, but you want to get information. You want to start the process. It's nice to have information so that when you need it, you have it, rather than waiting until you're in a troublesome situation and then trying to figure it out from that really stressed and anxious place. And you can also go to our website and look. It does. Our website will tell you a lot of the services we offer, but no one should hesitate to call and just say, hey, I'm 72 years old and I live in Williston and I'd like to know more about what services you offer that I might be able to avail myself of. We're happy to field those calls.
That's great.
Yeah.
Just looking at kind of main services here, I think options counseling and dementia respite.
Let me talk a little bit about, so we do have a caregiver support specialist, and her whole job is focused around providing support to caregivers who are caring for a loved one. We do have some funding that comes from the state through the Dementia Respite Grant, where we can help to support caregivers by helping them get help or respite as they are caregivers. None of us can pour from an empty cup. That's one of the things I always love listening to her talk about what she does, because caregiving, when it's done for a short period of time, we all sign up and say, oh, no problem, I can help out. But when it goes on for an extended period of time, it can be hard to manage taking care of yourself and all your obligations in addition to being a full-time caregiver for someone that you love. And so she's really able to help caregivers figure out how can they widen their support network? What can they ask for? Oh, they could ask a friend to do the laundry. They could ask their niece to stop at the grocery store. They don't have to do it all themselves.
That's a great message. Just those little things. Like you
Yes,
said,
little
that
things make a huge difference.
cup is empty.
Yes.
And trying to spread that out.
Yes.
It's a team effort too.
Yeah, it is a
working
team
with
effort.
Friends and neighbors too.
Yeah.
Just looking at a list of questions we had here.
Okay.
Let's see where we're at. One piece, too, I want to talk about more volunteers, the role volunteers
I would love to
play,
talk about
and how can someone
volunteers.
get involved?
So currently, there are some very active volunteers in Williston. So just so you know, there are at least 45 volunteers that I can think of off the top of my head that I know are Williston residents who do everything from helping to deliver Meals on Wheels or volunteering at a community site to visiting seniors who are isolated and alone and being that friendly visitor every week. I have volunteers that take people grocery shopping. We have many older Vermonters who no longer have a car or can no longer drive for a variety of reasons. They have no way to get to the grocery store to access food. So we have volunteers that will take them grocery shopping. We have volunteers that will accompany people to medical appointments. Imagine being elderly, you're 101 years old, and you're going to a medical appointment. You don't have a way to get there. You're relying on public transportation. It's wonderful when a volunteer can show up and pick you up and take you, help you find your way through the hospital if your appointment happens to be there, and actually accompany you, help you understand what it is that the doctor is explaining, and even take you home and help you call your daughter in California so that, because you had promised that you would tell her what the doctor said when you got home. So we have volunteers that help with that kind of stuff. We have volunteers that will help run errands. We have volunteers that will go once a month and help someone balance their checkbook and pay their bills if they need that. We have volunteers that will help sort through mail and get things reorganized. If you've been in the hospital for 3 or 4 weeks and you come home, coming home can be really overwhelming and you can need some help, sorting through things. So I always say I'll entertain any volunteer request as long as it's safe for the volunteer and that it's fun and rewarding. And so the sky's the limit in terms of what we will entertain.
So someone could come to you with an idea and try to find a match if it's
Absolutely.
a good idea. If they're an avid chess player and
Yes,
match them
absolutely.
with a senior who's very interested in doing that.
Yeah, I am a professional matchmaker. That is what we do. We meet with every volunteer, we learn what their passions and hobbies and interests are, and then as we get requests from our care and service coordinator team, we look to match a volunteer specifically to a client who shares some of those same interests.
And you said, checking time here, I have to wrap up in a minute or so,
all right.
but just kind of thinking resources for people to follow up. The
Yeah.
website.
So the first thing is our 1-800 number, and to call that 1-800 number and to ask any question you have. Doesn't matter what it is. We'll either have the answer or we'll point you in the right direction. And then people absolutely can go to our website and look and see what the services are that we provide. And if they're interested in volunteering, I would love to get a phone call. 662-5249 is my direct line, and I am happy to talk with folks who would like to explore volunteering with us.
And for folks watching too, if connect with me in the town hall, stop by the town hall too. If you didn't get all the information, I'll make sure you're connected with Erica.
That's great.
With information here. So thanks so much, Erica, for coming on.
Thank you
this
very
month.
much for having me.
Thanks for all that you guys do as well.
Thank you very
It's a great
much.
service to our community and the region here.
Thank you.
So next on the show this month, Williston Central School wrapped up a 15-month major renovation project in August, just before school started. So I spent some time recently learning more about that and what was going on. So we've got a video package to play, and Aiden, we're ready to look at that when you are. When students, faculty, and staff arrived back at Williston Central School in late August, they entered a space transformed by the completion of a major renovation project that took place just over the last year and a half.
So we had, air handling units, roofs, windows, ceilings that were, well beyond their probably intended lifespan. When you think about a window from 1949, was still the window that we were using to keep the cold out and the heat in. So there was a conversation really 3 years ago about what's the best way to address some of these concerns. And it became very quickly clear that it was beyond the scope of things you could take care of within the scope of the regular operations and maintenance budget and the school budget.
Voters approved the $19.8 million bond in November 2016 for the project that would upgrade the facilities to address deferred maintenance, improve aesthetics, and transform learning spaces in the 3rd through 8th grade school.
Some of the more obvious things when you first walk in the building are cosmetic. You notice that the concrete outside is even and safe, and the curbs and the concrete line up, and we got rid of a lot of the cracked, almost all the cracked and heaving asphalt to eliminate trip hazard. And you walk in to see a newly renovated front office space that features a nice wooden slat ceiling and recessed lighting, and brings natural light into our office, which it previously didn't have. You'd also right off the bat notice that there's a fresh coat of paint on everything, new ceiling in the corridors, new LED lighting, new flooring. The library's one example in the school where it was more than just let's fix up this space. It was really full scale, let's redesign this space and make it more aligned with the way kids use libraries in the 21st century.
And thanks to the renovation, the library isn't a warehouse for things anymore. It's really an inviting space for students, and their reaction has just been incredible. We had one student come in at the start who was just like, ah, like so happy. They're all so excited. This has definitely been the biggest transformation. And students love being here, and that's what we want. We want them to love being in the library and reading.
My name's Leo, and I'm in 5th grade. And I think the library just is amazing, and this part over there that almost like a fort, that'll be really cool for people to come in after school or not even after school, and they can chill out in there, and everything is just so open.
I'm the family consumer science teacher at Williston Central School. This is my brand new gorgeous space. When I met with the architect, I told them that my kids don't come in saying, I want to cook in my house. They say, I want to be a chef, or I want to work in a restaurant, or they've seen all the cooking shows and they want to do that. So they really modeled it after what it looks like in a restaurant kitchen. I teach a lot of different things. I teach health class, I teach sewing, I teach cooking, I teach careers and budgeting and finance. And so my classroom is completely modular to fit, especially during the day. I can be teaching 3 completely different classes. So I can kind of ebb and weave as I need to. All my tables are on wheels. My carts over there are on wheels, so I can move as I need to in my classroom.
So my name's Alessandro. I'm an 8th grader at Williston Central School. Being a student, just coming in, on the first day of school, seeing all the renovations, just the wow factor, how much all the time and effort that was put into this is amazing, and all the people that were working on it really put their all into this, and it paid off tremendously. So as a student seeing this, it's wow, I'm gonna be in my last school year and it's gonna look amazing.
A major piece you won't see, but will certainly feel, is the heating and ventilation system improvement, a $5 million component of the project. The old system was completely removed, and the new system was built from scratch. All the windows were also replaced with modern airtight units. The entire building is now set up with sprinklers, and that cost was just over $1 million.
Hello, I'm Ethan. I'm in 8th grade and I'm 13 years old. I like the tech ed room. It's way more open. They took down the giant curtain that restricted a third of the room, so now it's just one big open space. There's the 3 printers. It's painted. It's just really cool. So it looks new and fresh.
So when you think about all the little things that children and teachers experience from all the little enhancements, whether it's the feeling you get because, oh, that's a fun color, or I'm walking on a new floor and there's a new light above me. There's those things that you can't really right, they're intangible. But then there are the more tangible things where, the air in here is better and the light in here is better. So that's been really exciting to see the kids come and to watch their faces as they walk through the new spaces and appreciate it. To see them fill up the new cubbies with their stuff and how they take pride in making it neat. I'm sure it'll look a little different in a month, but that's just been really, really exciting. And the hope is, too, that when you're in a place that you're really proud of, because it's really new and shiny and the people around you have said, this is important enough that we're investing in, that the kids then are thinking, you know what, I better be careful about how I take care of this space. Because it is something that the community has invested in, and it is something that's in really good shape. So I better do my part in keeping it that way.
If you haven't been by the school yet to see the renovations, I highly recommend it. It's been an incredible transformation there. Finally this month on What's Up Williston, the Brick Church Music Series is getting ready to kick off its 11th season in October. Concerts are held in the old brick church in the village one Friday a month from October through April. Earlier this week, I sat down with two of the series organizers, Keith Gaylord and David Yandel, in the church to get a sneak peek of what's ahead for this season. This is a 12-minute or so story, so unfortunately we're butting up against our time limit here and it will get cut off towards the end of the live broadcast. But to catch the rest of it, please check out the town website to see that in the end of the show. So Ray, when you are, Aiden.
I'm Dave Yandel. I'm one of the organizers of the Brick Church Music Series here in Williston. Sitting with Keith Gaylord, one of the other organizers. There are 6 of us that run the series. We have been doing this now this will be our 11th season. And we'll give you a little overview of it. It's a charitable activity. Our goal is partly to produce a high quality entertainment activity right in the village of Williston, to use this beautiful venue, the Brick Church, but also to raise money for charities, particularly local charities and nonprofits. We have supported quite a number of different groups, and we're not affiliated formally with any particular church or organization. This is simply a group of community members that 10 years ago we realized the acoustics in this church are absolutely superlative. It just doesn't get better for performance. We haven't put together a stage. The stage was not a high point in terms of our early planning, but we are able to run a music series 7 times a year from October through April. Keith will give us a little more detail of the upcoming season. Each event is a charitable activity where we have a different nonprofit or charity that we're raising money for that night. 100% of the proceeds, once we've paid musicians and paid our overhead costs, 100% goes back to the charity. It's all volunteer. We pride ourselves in having high quality music, professionally done sound and lighting. This is not a high school stage. This is a really a good ticket for the price. We also try really hard to keep our ticket prices in an accessible range for the community. We start early and we finish early on a Friday night. It's great for family, great family activity. We welcome all ages. But I think the most important point is this is a really high quality series, wonderful, wonderful acts, very affordable, and it's right here in the heart of Williston, in a historic building, beautiful historic building. It's a community activity that brings people together. Keith, you tell us a little more about our charities and our acts.
Well, there are 4 others. We've got Rick McGuire, the town manager. Peter English does our sound. And David Kramer does a lot of the copy and helps us with some visibility through social media. And Bob Pasco does a great job working with the beneficiaries. We're also very grateful to Nancy Stone, who is our curator. We have great music. We have great art. Nancy brings in someone different for every show. And we have great treats, which are brought by the beneficiaries. We do have 3 standing sponsors. The town of Williston is very generous with this space. The Williston Observer has been behind this all the seasons. It's been very generous with giving us space in the Observer. And then we have Peter English, who does our sound. He's a professional sound engineer, and we're very grateful for that. And the musicians love it because they sound good. He makes them sound even better. And I do have to say that without exception, musicians who haven't played here before, when we ask them, did you like it? They love it. One of the acoustics that David mentioned, but also the proximity. We hold 140 maximum here. We're not going to go to another venue. Keep it small. Everybody loves it.
Very intimate.
Very, very intimate. Have I left anything else? Oh, we're really fortunate to have a season presenting sponsor this year, Piper Realty. And that came as a result of an earlier support for a program. They liked it so much, they said this is a great opportunity for them to contribute materially to the community and to the program, but also it helps them.
Yeah,
So,
Piper is a new business in town. Danielle Pesamenti is the principal, and she is a wonderful person to work with, and we are so thankful to be able to have that presenting sponsorship this season. It helps us to bring in acts that we couldn't otherwise bring in, given our ticket prices and the size of the venue, which is limiting sometimes.
right. So before we get into the program itself, the folks that we give money to, David mentioned, everything beyond our overhead and paying the artists goes to a local charity. And we have some, we'll call them regulars. For example, the Williston Richmond Rotary is always our first show, and they do what it is we hope our beneficiaries do. They help generate an audience. They provide great food. We have people here helping out with doors and moving equipment around and so on. So we're very grateful. And we've been introduced to some beneficiaries. We just had no awareness of the contribution they make to not just the local population, but throughout. Vermont Community Garden is one of them. Mm-hmm. Salvation Farms is another, but we work with the library. We work with Rotary, as we said. And it's really, everything works out very, very well. Everybody pitches in. Personally, one of the things that I enjoy is there are folks, when I go shopping at Hannaford's or Shaw's or whatever it is, say, hey, you're with the Big Church Music Series. I only know them as a result of this. They're not my neighbors per se. They're Willistonians, and really, that's a lot of fun. So the lineup, what we try to do is provide a variety of music and genres. We could do bluegrass on every show, and that would please a certain group of people. On the other hand, we commit ourselves to finding classical music, jazz. What are some of the other genres?
Well, we've had the last 2 years. This year also we'll be presenting 1 or 2 country acts, which is very popular. And we didn't realize we hadn't had country music in our first 8 or 9 years, and it's going to be wonderful. Jamie Lee Thurston will be our opener this year. He's a he's a native Vermonter now. He's at Nashville, and it's really a wonderful.
Big deal.
Oh, he's a terrific. It's a terrific show, even if country music is not what you normally listen to.
My wife said country, and she came, and she walked out of here tapping her toe. He was fabulous with the others, but she said, I had no idea that country could be so engaging and such a wonderful performance, performance.
We present folk music, indie, pop. Often we'll have singer-songwriter type presenters that are local, or they may be regional or even international touring artists. We've had quite a few international acts that are full-time professional musicians that are on tour, and we've been able to book them here. But we also like to support regional and local talent. It's very important to us that we provide a venue for some of these local musicians to perform, including opening acts for many of our shows.
Let's just talk a little bit about the opening act. This is an effort to encourage musicians who are a little bit beyond busking on the street, people who have performed before, but give them a real audience. And we compensate them, and we want to make sure that they feel as though they're contributing and they're getting something in return, an opportunity, a little remuneration. Not for every concert, but many of the concerts we do that. So we mentioned Jamie Lee Thurston. That's going to be October 12th. Christine Malcolm Band.
Christine is very diverse. She plays all over Vermont. Plays in a lot of different configurations. Some would call her country, some would say pop. She's a little more, not as hardcore country, but really a fun, really fun evening. That'll be terrific. December, tell them about December. This is a tradition also then.
A group called Cantiano, which again is made up by local musicians, singers, and we make it seasonal. It's not purely secular, but it's an opportunity for local musicians to lead a traditionally holiday event, and it allows the audience to join in as well. Is that
Yeah, and oftentimes a cappella could be a choir, could be, we've had the Vermont Youth Chorus, we've had Middlebury Chorus, we've had a number of different, Cantiamo is again a private group, but small a cappella, lovely music.
Yeah, in January, we've got a very interesting program, a pianist and her husband,
Yeah.
accordion.
Jeremiah McLean and Anamika McLean are married. Many will know Anamika is a classical pianist locally. She does, and Jeremiah plays many different instruments, but they will present a wonderful evening. They call themselves the Casoto Duet or Duo.
Yep.
And it will be Neapolitan music, accordion and piano, not a lot of folk stuff, but literally we're working on a second duo for that evening. That evening is still coming together, but that'll be a really fun evening.
Now, this is another concert where people go, what? You know, like you're going piano and accordion, and they'll walk out of here going, I never would have thought.
Yeah,
That was fabulous.
Last year we presented an evening of Spanish music, South American Spanish.
Knocked it out of the park.
Classical soprano. And her husband was a classical guitarist.
He's
Colombian, and she sang in the opera in Bogota for many years. She's actually a Vermont product, and they've moved back here recently. That's the kind of evening we strive toward, and we do have people coming up afterwards saying, where did you find this?
Right. Where have they been?
Yeah, where have they been? This is something we really try to surprise people with the quality, but also the character of what we have. Gypsy music. We have this year we have Rowan coming, and Rowan is an Irish band.
Celtic, yeah.
You know, usually most years we have a Celtic show.
Yep.
That'll be our Celtic show this year.
Yep.
And this year we're closing with Patty Larkin.
But before that, we have Paul Asbell. There's some folks in the community here. Paul's been playing here for 40 years or something like that, and he's renowned. He tours away from Vermont, but loves to play for local audiences here. So we'll have a nice jazz guitar here for that one. Yeah, and one thing that we may do again this year is work with Advanced Music and put on, in effect, a singer-songwriter, but we call it Bridge Church Rising Stars, and we may add that to our program, so it may extend into
bonus concert.
Bonus concert, yeah, it's a
for
bonus
the season
concert
ticket holders.
What have we left out?
Venue, what
Tickets.
Tickets. Where do you get tickets?
Tickets.
Where do you go?
You can get them from the town hall. You can go online, buy them at the door. Doors open at 6:30. Concerts start promptly at 7.
Friday night, once
Friday
a month.
nights, once a month.
October through April.
Typically the second Friday of the month.
Typically.
If you just do a search on Brick Church Music Series, you're going to get both the Facebook listing as well as the Brick Church website, which is affiliated with the town website.
Information is on both about upcoming concerts.
If you'd like to know more about it, you can sign up online on the website and say you'd like to receive notices of when upcoming concerts are. So that's a great way to stay in touch.
We have discounted tickets for people who buy early. We have discounted a senior price. It's discounted. Most of our shows, the walk in the door ticket, standard adult ticket is usually $15 or thereabouts. Some shows we need to adjust that slightly. Usually we adjust it by not having discounted. But if you really want a good deal, buy a season ticket. It's 7 shows for the price of, I think, 5.5.
Right.
And the discounts do apply. We have a senior rate as well for those. So can't be beat.
When I meet some of these folks in the grocery store, it's the best ticket in town. It really is. It really is.
Got a great season planned for the Brick Church Music Series coming up starting in October. Tickets are going to be on sale for the October 12th show for Jamie Lee Thurston soon. Check the town website. They'll be available in the town clerk's office and also available at the door if tickets are left and it hasn't sold out before then. Check back soon. We'll have tickets available for you. Finally this month, let's take a look at some things going around town in our community notebook segment. So water bills are due coming up on September 30th. You can pay in person, by mail, or via the drop box at the town clerk's office. Absentee and early voting is going to start on Monday, September 24th for the November general election. If you haven't registered to vote, registration is available through the My Voter page online at the website on the screen, or you can stop by the town clerk's office to fill out a voter registration form. A reminder, the new four-way stop intersection at the intersection of North Williston, Mountain View, and Governor Chittenden roads will be in effect starting Monday, September 24th. Paving's underway in town. It started this month and will be going on in the coming weeks. Following roads are on the schedule to be treated this year: South Road, Terrace Avenue, Marshall Avenue, North Brownell Road, Blair Park Road, Ledgewood Drive, and Brennan Woods Drive. Reminder, the 2018 Chowder Challenge is coming up on Sunday, September 30th. Come out for a great family fun event and sample and vote for your favorite chowders. It will be taking place from 12 to 3 p.m. at the Williston Village Green right next to the library. Adults are $12, children 6 to 12 are $6, and under 6 are free. If you bring a non-perishable food item, you'll receive $1 off admission. For more information, please visit the website on the screen, willistonchowderchallenge.org. Reminder, the town of Williston is on social media. Follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook. And we're always looking for feedback and segment ideas here on What's Up Williston. I'm Erik Wells, assistant to the town manager. Please send me an email, give me a call, or stop by if you're interested in being a guest or have an idea for a segment on our show. So that's going to wrap it up for this month. Thanks for joining us on What's Up Williston. We're going to be off for the month of October due to CCTV candidate forums taking place. We'll be back in November with a new episode. I want to thank Aiden, our producer, and Jonathan, our floor manager, for making things happen behind the scenes here today. I'm Erik Wells, and I'll see you around town. Thanks.